Oh no, some scary clown squirted water all over my comics.
Never fear, son! In Colorado, there is one place to go for all your comic needs. Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics.
Oh boy, thanks Coins, Cards, Comics, man. Oh no, there's a lady hanging off that building. Can you save her?
I can't save her, but you can also save 20% by getting a hold slot at Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics.
Oh no, she's falling.
Did you know prices are also falling on back issues at Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics?
Thanks for saving me, Coins, Cards, Comics guy. Now I can buy my son the card games he wants and the sports memorabilia my husband wants.
That's correct, ma'am. Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics knocks it out of the park. So visit 6700 Wadsworth Boulevard in Arvada, Colorado. They're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And tell them the Real Nerd sent you.
For barbecue that can't be beat, try Birdman Barbecue Sauce. Available and original and spicy. These robust, full-flavor sauces have the awesome power to kick your taste buds in their face. And for that smoking taste on everything you eat, try new Birdman Smokin' Rub. Caution! Meat left unrubbed may suffer from flavor performance anxiety. You can pick up Birdman Barbecue at local area Ace Hardware stores, Ruff's Barbecue in Golden, and the Danny Cash Hot Shop off Broadway. You can also like us on Facebook at Birdman BBQ.
This Sunday at the Gothic Theater, come see the premiere of a new comedy from Nebulous Visions. Don't be a pussy. What's it about? Too bad, we're not going to tell you. But it's got an old Jewish cat lady in it. Oh, sluts. And this guy. Some other shit. And a hermaphrodite. Maybe. Oh my god, what is that? Don't be a pussy. Part of the 2012 Denver 48-hour film project gala premiere. August 12th at 7:45 p.m. The Gothic Theater. 3263 South Broadway, Englewood, Colorado, 80113. Bring money. $8 online. And $11 at the door. Oh my gosh, that's so cheap. Don't be a pussy. Don't be a pussy. You can come and see it, pussy.
Whoa, that love and feeling. You've lost that love and feeling. Now it's gone, gone, gone. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Welcome to Real Nerds. I am Ryan. To my right is
James.
In front of me is
Disturbed.
Whatever, dude. That was an amazing rendition of You've Lost That Loving Feeling that we went ahead and stole from Top Gun. And if I remember the rest of the bit at Top Gun, it would have been awesome.
My question is why?
Who cares?
Because we're just glad you're back, and we wanted to.
We wanted to serenade you with.
After listening to last week's show, I don't believe you. Are you really glad I'm back? Or
I am, because you know what? This sounds better than
it sounds way better. We need the tech guy. Hey, so I'll go ahead and promote your little thing. Since Brad was gone last week, if you go to the Gothic Theater in Denver, Colorado on Sunday.
Englewood.
Whatever, it's the same fucking thing.
It's a town. It's in the town.
If you go to the Gothic Theater Sunday, at what time does it start, Brad?
7:45.
7:45. You can see Brad's entry into the 40-hour film. Can I finish?
Oh, man. Ryan just walked out of the room.
And accidentally turned off my mic. Hey, Brad, why don't you tell us what you did? Because obviously I can't do it.
Well, yeah, you're just going to make it generic, and people are going to show up and be like, oh, he made a whole movie, and then it's 4 minutes later, they're like, what was that? So,
way to really sell it up.
But don't you want people to go see everybody else's too?
Awesome.
Yeah.
or as soon as yours over, you want just a mass of people to get up and leave.
There's a friend of the podcast who also has one too, so we should just promote it in general.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, backstory for listeners who aren't aware of and haven't listened back to last year. There's a 48-hour film project contest every year where teams are invited to, within the span of 48 hours, make a short film between 4 and 7 minutes long over the course of a weekend. So that's what I did.
Does it have to be filmed in Englewood, or can it also be filmed in Denver?
It can be filmed anywhere in Denver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I guess you could film it actually, in Nevada, and if you can get it done and back to Denver, turned in within 48 hours, I suppose that's legal.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've never asked because I don't know who would be dumb enough to do that. But
So maybe somebody on the flight home, they would edit the movie on the flight home, turn it in.
that'd be ridiculous. But
Next year, we're going to
admirable.
make a movie. Nevada. It's just landscapes.
our 48-hour film is us traveling there and back.
Cool, Brad. So where can people go see this and what time? Again, since you interrupted me, why don't you just
No, you
spell
covered it. I didn't interrupt that part.
Okay, cool. And what's the name of the movie you did?
Our movie this year.
What are you embarrassed to say the name? I mean, because you kind of backtrack. What movie did you do this year?
We got comedy.
Good.
Our character
That's
was
the only requirement, was just you had to make it funny?
no, not the only one.
Oh, okay.
It is the major one. It needs to be a comedy. Our character is Rhoda Powers or Russell Powers. We chose Rhoda. The line is "Let's keep it in the group." That had to be said on screen somewhere in the movie, and the prop is a straw.
Very nice. And the name of the movie, so people know.
Our movie is called "Don't Be a Pussy."
And you can see an awesome trailer of it. I thought it was actually brilliant.
The trailer's really good.
Oh, thank you.
Because he, it's already a dirty trailer, but you said shit and then the beep, so you didn't bleep out shit. You bleeped out nothing.
Yeah.
And it's a really funny joke. And so yeah, good job, Brad.
Thank you.
Brad's
So,
Brad's a creative one here.
I hope you guys are going to come see it. It's $8 online. I hope you buy your tickets ahead of time, and then $11 at the door. If you are so inclined, you can spend $24 and buy passes to all 4 screenings. We're the last screening of the evening, so it starts early, like 11 or
So
something.
you better end with a bang. But it also means that you've got the best chance because in a lot of those contests, people just vote for the last one they remember.
True. They actually kind of program the best ones to be at the end of the night, I've noticed in past years. So when we get the list of films in the order, we don't know ahead of time. It's just when you get there, you find out. If we're at the end of the list, that means the people who set it up think we did pretty well.
Yeah.
And then
So you're saying I could just show up at like 8:15 and
there's no guarantee, but you
Yeah.
might be able to do that. I hope you wouldn't.
Every week James' phone goes off during our podcast. You think he'd learn that?
well, it might have been something important. Hold on.
Let's see. Now you're gonna have to share with everybody.
Somebody's life better be in danger.
It's an email from your wife.
Mm-hmm.
So.
About what?
Oh, she's sending me some pictures, and I asked her to do this a week ago, and she sent them to me right now.
Nice. That's
So-
creepy.
Whoa, that's not what. No, that's not what I meant. No, they're the pictures from when we saw Dark Knight. Oh God.
Anyway, so in addition to our screening, we have some friends, the Not Literally Girls, also entered into the contest. They are one of the morning groups, I think, and they also got comedy. So
Cool.
And I'm
But-
sure it'll be musically.
actually, I was going to say that I talked to them at the drop-off, and they said they did a musical.
So yeah, not surprised. Those girls are very talented musically.
And Dana had to wear like a pregnancy costume. So
No, it was
And get a pregnancy
it was,
coach?
It was Ginny because I saw the picture
Ginny?
online. Yeah.
oh.
But well, I mean, we have to hope that they lose.
Well, the thing is, like, they're not in our screening group, so
Okay. Then good luck to them. I hope they do very well.
there can be a winner, a best of each of the 4 groups. But what we really need is for people to show up and vote for the audience award for us. So, and you can vote up to 3, and they pick the
So you don't want
person
people to
who
go
wins.
with their heart. You just want them to do what you're telling them to do. Is
Oh,
vote for
absolutely.
them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's encouraged to rally up as many of your own supporters as you can to show up and vote for you.
And make money for whoever putting it together.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. That's
Sell as
it.
many tickets. So
Rig this as best you can.
Very cool. So yeah, check that out. Sunday,
And the truth
August 12th.
well, yeah, okay.
is, if Brad is smart, then you've already heard the trailer. So
I didn't think about putting it in
Yeah.
here, but it's online. It's on the our website on the front
It
page.
is.
Under,
You can go to realnerdspodcast.com and check it out.
I stand by my statement.
It's under the more important part of the page right now.
It is. We have started taking donations for our Alex Sullivan fund that we're going to be donating to his family. If you go to realnerdspodcast.com and click on the link, you will be asked for a donation. But the cool thing is when you donate, we will send you a cool Nightwing-themed wristband that says Sully 720 on it in memory of Alex. And all the proceeds go to his family. So, I mean, if we go through all 200, I'll order more until people stop ordering them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you for all that. Everybody who's already done it. I mean, we haven't really promoted it, and we've already got awesome support for it.
Yeah, thank you
It's
to
been
everyone
really
who's
cool.
already donated. A lot of people have already donated plenty, and don't worry about covering fee charges or credit card percentages because, like we said, the band's already paid for, so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
everything is icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah, thanks a lot. And I'll have an on-site fundraiser at Qdoba very soon. As soon as I work out the final details, it'll be in the next week or next week, and I will put it on our website, and I'll also put it on our Facebook page and my Facebook page and your guys' Facebook page, so we get a good turnout at Qdoba. And you'll also get, if you go to the Qdoba one, you will get something from Qdoba. I haven't really worked it out yet, but soon. As soon as I know that, I will put it on the Facebook page and our Twitter account and our podcast website, realnerdspodcast.com. Hey, guys, we saw a movie this week.
What did we see?
We saw The Bourne Legacy.
Was I awake through the whole thing?
I guess. I don't know.
I think I was.
You're sitting next to me.
Okay.
I hope you were. If not, you can sleep with your eyes open, and that's pretty impressive.
I'm like Gandalf.
Yes. So, again, if you are new to our podcast, I haven't done this in a while, we go through a list of things. First, we go through our fan mail, which we have a few things this week. Then we go to Real News, which James provides us with. We also do box office numbers, DVD, Blu-ray releases. We also do what we've been seeing, Comic Book Corner, and then we review the featured movie. And there's several ways you can contact us. realnerds@gmail.com is the email. You can call us 720-6nerds5. You can also tweet us, real_nerds. And you can also like us on Facebook and leave us messages there. So just do that. Or you can leave us messages on our website, too. We get those, too. Lots of ways you can reach us. So it's time to dig into the mailbag.
Fan mail! Mailbag.
I know. Right? Does anybody still use
sounds
the
like
mail?
a ball sack.
See,
Mailbag.
He yells at me when my phone rings, but he just generally just picks it up and is like, "I'm gonna check my phone now."
That's for work,
little
James.
podcast.
Yeah, this is for the job.
Oh, I thought he was just checking shit.
Yeah.
We got a really awesome email from Dan again. Dan, 3 weeks ago was the interview you heard on our podcast. He is the Comic-Con convention guy. He just goes everywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be comic related, but he loves conventions.
Yeah.
It's like a second job for him. That's cool.
He was a cool dude.
In it, he says, "Greetings. In your last episode, you had quite the interesting discussion on Total Recall. And while I agree with a lot of your points, I had a very different reaction. I didn't expect it and wasn't looking for it, but Arnold's shadow loomed large over this film.
Really?
Like you, I didn't think beforehand that Schwarzenegger's Total Recall was an untouchable or a classic. But the more I watch this new remake, the more I realize that, I do consider the original a classic. I wasn't getting what I wanted. Mars, the gadgets, the one-liners, get your ass to Mars, etc. If there's one thing that was most disappointing about this film, it would be the lack of direct callbacks to the original. There were a couple, but they were not well done. I totally agree.
I agree that the ones that were there weren't well done, like the three boob chick. But the truth is, I feel like callbacks to another movie they're distracting. They're not actual content. Like, they're cool if they're subtle homages, but if it was as simple as, like, if they really had somebody say, "Get your ass to Mars," then why don't you just watch the old movie?
Yeah, no, but I get what he's saying. I mean, if you should have some callbacks because the ones or if you're not going to have very many of them, the ones that you do that seem forced are terrible.
No, I think that, like, the three boob chick one is pretty forced. The scene where they have... he's got the different face on that's kind of like in the original movie, and right before that scene you see a lady who looks like the lady from that movie walking by. Like, that one to me is a pretty good one because it's subtle. It's just for those of us in the know, but for people who haven't seen Total Recall in a while or haven't seen it at all, they can just watch that scene and it feels like a good organic scene. I don't know. I feel like callbacks are if you do them in a comedy or you do them every now and then, it's cool, but other than that, they get distracting.
Cool. He went on to say, and Kate Beckinsale is no Michael Ironside, though I generally like most of Kate Beckinsale's film, even Whiteout. I kind of laughed when I read that because that movie's not good. This movie really does her a disservice. Combining the Ironside and Stone characters did not work for me. This new composite character that Beckinsale plays didn't make much sense and quickly devolved into a generic villain as the film went on. Agreed.
Oh, she is a generic villain, but she's a fucking tiger, man. Like, she is just, like, she's going to kill that dude.
The lack of ambiguity was also a major issue for me. The original was the best mindfuck yet, as Arnold would say. For years, I was unsure of of what the real and what there wasn't real in that film. Even today, I can still see the different layers and interpretations of the film. But this remake is rather obvious and only makes one or two feeble attempts to add ambiguity to the story. I totally agree.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, the first one, you really don't know if he's still in recall or not, and this one, you definitely know that he's not.
Yeah, or if he is, it's like it doesn't even matter because the story that we followed is so much about what would be the perceived dream that it's interesting because in interviews Len Wiseman has acted like, oh no, I think it's really still ambiguous, and I'm no.
But is it or do you see it coming because you already saw the original Total Recall though?
No, I mean it's pretty much laid out that he is totally not in recall anymore.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that they. Yeah, I think that by the end you feel like, oh, okay, well this is clearly the real world.
Okay.
He finishes with, when I first heard about the Total Recall remake, I was quite hopeful. To that end, I was especially interested in seeing the original source material revisited. However, it appears as if the remake has strayed even further from Philip K. Dick's short story. But all that aside, I agree with you that this Total Recall is surprisingly entertaining an action film, just not a good remake. Regards, Dan. I agree with Dan. Thanks, Dan. That's another awesome email that you have written us. I love you're so articulate and well in tuned with movies. It's awesome.
Yeah, it makes me. I do kind of want to go back and read that story because I'd like to know if is Mars actually in We'll Remember For You Wholesale or not. I mean, I don't know.
I'll just do a quick little thing here. Reggie asked us when he's going to see us again.
Yeah,
we will be at the next Mile High Comics auction. Well, I will be. James is going to try to get it off. Brad, you're going to try to do it too.
Yeah, it's Labor Day.
It's Labor Day, so we will be there, Reggie. So
in the morning, it's
in
like
the morning.
10:30 to.
Yeah,
it's a short one. It's like 10:30 to 1 or 10:30 to noon.
Something goofy. So we'll definitely be there, though.
Yeah,
I'll be there. Are you going to be there? And last, am I missing anything? I think I just.
Well, we're planning to be at Mile High Con. In some capacity.
Yeah, we'll also be at Mile High Con. Yeah. Hopefully, some way, walking around, just handing out stickers or cards or something.
Just looking at cool stuff.
Yeah, just look for us with the Real Nerd shirt.
Yeah.
Who knows what we'll be doing? We also got a phone call this week from Natalie.
We did.
A woman's voice on our podcast? That's usually only my wife, and she's telling me how stupid I am because I didn't understand Prometheus, but this time it's somebody else. So, yeah, here's Natalie calling the Real Nerds hotline, 720-6nerds5.
Hi, this is Natalie, Sierra, and Shauna calling, and our question is, how do you think the current Bourne compared to Matt Damon, and do you think that this will turn into the next James Bond with different actors continuing the legacy? Let us know. Thanks.
Cool, thanks, Natalie.
Shauna was there.
Shauna and Sierra. Well, to answer one of your questions, Jeremy Renner's character isn't really a Bourne.
Yeah.
But I think you do bring up a good point that they most likely probably will just get a new actor to be these super agents.
Yeah.
It does have that feel where it'll continue no matter who is.
Yeah, I think they've set up a universe where it would be a mistake to ever reboot this series. You do it like Bond where
you don't have to reboot it at all.
All of a sudden it's like, hey, it's Treadstone 2, and now we've got that kid who was in Where the Wild Things Are, but now he's grown up and buff.
Yeah, and because I guess Treadstone could be the new Spectra. It really could.
Whoever the next young, kind of scrawny, but could build up some muscles and make girls swoon over him guy is, you just cast him and then have him run around in claustrophobic rooms and punch people with books and stuff. It's really easy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you just
think you could, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. I think they really could do it.
Now the question is, how does he compare? And that you're going to have to wait until we get to our review.
Yeah, you're going to wait to get to review. But thanks, Natalie, for leaving us a voicemail. It's always funny. Usually we get such a male's perspective, so I always laugh when we get women's because they're usually smarter than men. I'm not ashamed to say it. But I also believe dogs are smarter.
I'm pretty
than
sure
women,
they were getting at which of them is more of a hunk, and for that they would have to call in and tell us which one they think is more hunky.
Yeah, I don't know. And for my money, I like Matt Damon, but maybe Jeremy Renner does it for people. I don't know. Let's ask the only female here. Hey, Laura, is Matt Damon or Jeremy Renner more attractive? Yes.
Yeah, he is the fucker who played the dude with the bow and arrow.
In the Avengers.
Uh-huh, yeah. Oh, she likes that guy.
So she likes Jeremy Renner.
And then, yeah.
Cool. So anything else, Brad? Any other tweets? Anything? I think I covered everything. Yeah, so so that's it, unless Brad has any other tweets he'd like to share with everybody on my show.
Oh, I don't know. Someone named Bradley tweeted that if you're going to introduce the show, saying that it's an exciting one, maybe you should do it in an excited voice.
Oh, yeah? Was I not excited? I don't remember.
Well, a good point. What kind of a douche name is Bradley?
Was I not that excited?
You know,
in the
I was going to
podcast
pick on you,
yesterday?
James, but now I am. So
Oh.
prepare for a war, man.
Oh, shit.
Was I really not that exciting last week, Brad?
I was just screwing
When you
around with
say,
you.
well, I will admit, I listened to last week's episode,
Hi.
and it starts
Welcome
off
to
like
Real
a
Nerds.
radio
This
voice.
is Ryan Frost. We have an exciting show for you today.
Hey,
Really? Was I mumbly too?
A little
hey
bit.
everybody. Welcome to the
It had to been the equipment. Because Brad took our equipment.
Yeah, blame it on the equipment.
So I think that was the real reason.
That's why we
You're
sounded
like-
like we were across the room.
You're all bored that you have to wear these headsets on your head, and you're just like,
I had a radio
it's
voice.
like a dog wearing a collar.
I do know that my voice gets all homosexually when I talk to like children
Whoa.
and women.
What?
Oh, yeah.
To children.
No, I mean like customers
know
at
what he-
work.
I know
you
what
know,
you're
like
saying,
I get exactly.
Yeah, you do that
Kind
thing.
of it's weird. I don't know how to not do it.
It's kind of the same way he talks to his dog.
Yeah, exactly. You know, gay like.
Stewie. Yeah.
I don't think I go that high.
No, you don't. But you can't go that high.
But anyways, hey, thanks everybody for thanks everybody whoever called us and left us a tweet or sent us an email. Remember, you can follow us at Real Nerds. What I totally lost it.
Yeah,
You kind of sound like that Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics superhero guy.
No,
you got-
actually, my Colorado Coins cards. I'll pull back the curtain, guys.
Ooh.
I was my Dudley Do Right when I was doing the Colorado Coins cards and comic guy.
What?
That was you?
That was me,
Oh,
guys.
Man.
Wow, you're that guy?
Here, want to see me turn it
Amazing.
on?
Thanks for everybody who sent us tweets.
Right? I could be a voice actor.
Were you also the lady? Because I still can't figure out who the
Hey,
lady was.
Let me move your glasses. It is Superman.
That was amazing. Hey, let's dive into some box office stats.
This is the box office stats.
So, surprisingly, The Dark Knight was the /1 movie again.
Yeah.
Did you?
Keeps on trucking.
Yeah, it did $35 million last week.
Mhm.
Not surprising. I think it's up to 350 something.
353.
No, today it's 370. It's like
wow.
it's like a couple 100,000 below Passion of the Christ.
Nice.
So it'll climb up. I think
It's a couple 100,000 below Passion of the Christ. Oh.
what?
I just like that sentence.
And hopefully,
Well, I'm glad you kept on talking. I was going to say something really inappropriate.
hopefully by the end of the weekend it'll get close to Hunger Games.
No, I think it might overtake it.
Wow, that makes me
yeah.
sad.
It has to do 30 or 40 to
I
do
think
it.
it will.
So.
I mean, it's still number one, so even if it does...
Well, it did 30 last weekend.
So if you do half of it this weekend, it's 18 million.
So it's close. It won't overtake it, though.
It will eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah.
The movie we saw, Total Recall, 25 million.
Which is decent for
Which is okay.
an underdog action movie in this.
A movie that really had no chance.
Oh yeah.
It's like Battleship
I'm actually kind of
and
surprised.
John
by that.
Carter.
But didn't it cost like 200 million or 150 million or
Oh yeah,
something?
it's an expensive movie. 125.
And that's
But,
probably just a production budget, probably not factoring in
marketing.
Oh no, it doesn't.
So,
But
long way to
it
go.
at least beat Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and those movies are really popular among like families.
Yeah,
so-
crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's the third one, and they're saying it's a down because it did 18 million, but I mean, how much do those movies cost to make? 20?
Yeah.
Cool. So thank you, Box Office Mojo, for supplying us with all our box office numbers and stats. Guess what, guys?
What?
Next week's a big week for Blu-rays.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
check it out.
is.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
The biggest one, obviously, is Jaws. I mean, there's...
Yeah.
How
long have I had that pre-order?
I have no idea.
Months,
it's like
dude.
your Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
Yeah.
You had it
And
pre-ordered
I'm gonna-
before Blu-ray was even a format.
I'm gonna get it the day before I leave, so I have to watch it like at midnight
That's
in my
awesome.
room in the dark because I have to see it before I go
I
to
am
Wyoming.
really excited for this one because I thought the 25th anniversary DVD looked amazing.
Yeah, no, it does. But this,
So I can't wait.
that's the thing. I can't wait not just to devour the movie in HD and all
Look
of
at that pun. Devour.
Devour. Yeah. But all of the specials and stuff on there. I hope. From what I've heard, there is a pretty good
Does Roy
documentary
Scheider
about
do
doing all of that.
Commentary?
I don't think so. I
Dude,
don't think. I wish that there was a. Oh fuck!
Did you forget that he was dead?
I just remembered that Roy Scheider was dead. That was awful. You're the devil. Oh man.
I think the last thing he did was that little voice work on Family Guy a couple years ago. When he makes fun of Richard Dreyfuss. It's
Man,
awesome.
Sequest was really good. Anyway, I wish there was a Spielberg commentary, but of course he never does it.
But, you know, the thing with Spielberg, though, usually he has his documentaries on his Blu-rays are so long that, you know.
Yeah.
But
It's
they're
about the
never with
same.
him. You never get a little bit insight into him, and that's what I
It is
really
interesting that he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Maybe he likes to preserve the movie magic.
Want. Yeah.
The second one is The Hunger Games, which you guys didn't care for, but I actually thought was really good.
I'm surprised it took that long for them to get a Blu-ray out.
And then we have Dexter, Season 6.
Yep.
Joe let me borrow Dexter Season 1, and I still haven't watched it. Sorry, Joe. I'll get around to it, I promise.
I got it lent to
Don't-
me too, so we can follow it together.
We can.
Oh, don't get your hopes up. It's not the best show ever, but it's fun.
Community, Season 3, which is
Oh,
amazing, of
It
course.
really is the best show ever.
Tristan Chat actually has that on the shelf right now.
Wait, does it really? Oh,
Twisted Chat
that's-
always puts him out early.
Yeah.
Always.
That's how
Unless
you get your
we're not supposed
store
to know that.
closed. We just threw them under the bus, didn't we?
Yeah.
Fuck these guys. Yeah.
Criterion, Royal Tenenbaums is also out, which I love the cover art for it.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Well, it's the inside of the old DVD.
Yeah, it's still cool, though.
Yeah.
Turtles, Season 10, the final season, Brad.
With bonus episodes that were missing from other season releases. Yes.
Really? They
Really?
do it like the Batman where they don't
No,
really put
they
them
were
in
doing it
order?
as seasons, but I guess they just left some
They,
off
like,
for no good
missed-
reason.
They're like, well, these are shitty episodes. Leave them off.
Yeah. Or they maybe had a rights issue that they
Oh, maybe.
I guess. I don't
That's
know.
most likely, yeah.
I think the first one has episodes from season 10 because that's the whole like weird drag story or whatever.
They have some weird episodes in there with like a Vanilla Ice song in there, and they're like, oh, we can't re-release this.
Oh my God,
we don't
let
have
it
the money.
go.
Also, The Raid Redemption comes out, which I
Yeah.
haven't seen, but is one of those movies that
I heard the action is
Yeah.
has
spectacular.
some kind of cult following.
Yeah, we never really had a chance to see it around here, so I'm looking forward to actually getting my hands on that.
And kind of an evening with Kevin Smith thing as Jay and Silent Bob get old and teabagging in the UK.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and there's one more, which is that the Blu-ray for Iron Sky, which is that movie about Nazis on the moon, comes out this week, which they've been making for like 8 years. So I'm excited about that.
Hey guys, is Father's Day finally coming out?
Oh, Father's Day is coming out this Tuesday. Do
Allegedly.
you believe me, Brad?
No.
Oh, okay.
So when it shows up in your
I'll believe you when
mailbox,
it shows up in my mailbox.
then we'll be excited. So once again, thank you Digital Bits for supplying us with all the DVD art, release information. Once again, you can click on any DVD cover on the Digital Bits upcoming releases. It takes you to Amazon where you can order it. You should do that because it supports the Digital Bits. So next is real news.
It's almost like he doesn't know how to do this show.
It's real news.
I know I've only been doing. What episode number is this? 60-something?
62.
Oh, man.
62? Man, you think I'd have it down by now.
We got to retire.
We do. So, to me, the biggest news story, James, is I'm going to spoil it for you because I don't care. It's my
You
show.
son of a bitch.
Is Joss Whedon is returning to do The Avengers Part 2, not surprising. But he's also developing a TV show for ABC.
Yeah, the show that we talked about the last 2 weeks.
So it's not really shocking news, but I think it's kind of cool. Is he's kind of become Marvel's Christopher Nolan, where Christopher Nolan's kind of just Superman, but you'd hope that Chris Nolan would do something else, but I don't think he's going to.
Yeah.
But that's what Joss Whedon's kind of doing with Marvel.
It's neat. It makes sense now why, because when you saw him in interviews when Avengers released, and he wasn't signing on to do the next one, but he was talking like he loved these characters and he would totally do a next one, but there was no contract in place, and everybody was kind of like, okay, why is this? What's wrong? You know, well, the reason is because it's a contract through 2015 that is a like. It's a movie and a TV show. It probably includes him being involved in some of the other movies, just like he was for the setup for the first Avengers. So it's a big deal. It means that he's going to be elbow deep in Marvel movies for the next few years, and that's a pretty big commitment. So now it makes
And
sense.
now they're saying too that now that Guardians of the Galaxy is, their next team one, that Thanos at the end was kind of the setup for Guardians of the Galaxy instead of being the setup for the Avengers 2 is actually the setup for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Well,
where they'll try to stop Thanos, and I guess he'll keep on going or something.
Yeah, they will
like
probably fail, which will make that movie awful. Because it'll be like, we got to
that.
introduce
It
this
has a raccoon
raccoon
with a gun. It's going to be awesome.
They got to introduce this raccoon and this talking tree, and then they got to get their asses kicked at the end of the movie. What? I still want to see it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I'm just saying, it's a bad recipe.
Because it's so bizarre, but,
Yeah.
I'll take a chance. What else you got for me, James?
The Great Gatsby, which was supposed to be out at Christmas, is getting pushed back to 2013. Basically because they looked at all of the movies coming out around Christmas, and they were like, oh, this is going to be a killing field.
Yeah, I thought it'd be one of the movies that got lost.
Yeah, I did
that
too.
or Les Miserables.
When in 13 is it coming out?
It's summer, so
the perfect summer movie.
They haven't set a specific date yet, but the next summer is pretty packed too.
Yeah,
so I don't know what they're thinking.
What are they going to do it in between Iron Man and Superman?
They should have tried for like April, which maybe that's what they're doing. Because April is still pretty fertile ground. Even March
Ask
they could
the
pull
Hunger
off.
Games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was Hunger Games March 25th? I think. Yeah, look at me
Yeah,
remember
it was-
stuff like that, but I don't remember my own show. Come on. It's embarrassing.
Oh, and also because around Christmas we got Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained as well as Zero Dark 30.
Lincoln.
And Lincoln and The Hobbit. And so it was, it's probably a smart move, but summer is going to be
Especially because I'm guessing that movie wasn't cheap.
No, it doesn't look cheap. Speaking of The Hobbit, we found out this week, Brad actually rolled his eyes at me. Like, oh, God damn it, we're going to talk about The Hobbit again.
I'm surprised you didn't talk about it last week when it actually got announced.
No, because we had announced it 2 weeks in a row that it was real, and then it got seriously announced, and I was like, well, why even do it?
Yeah, fuck it.
But this week we found out that the high frame rate revolution is going to be actually pretty small. There aren't enough theaters that are going to be ready by December, so it's probably going to be like LA and New York, which means that we won't get to see it out here, which I'm disappointed by. Like, I want to at least see it and see what that looks like, because it seems it's more exciting to me than 3D ever is.
Turn on a soap opera.
Yeah, the thing that that always bugged me when you go into any electronics store and they have those high frame rate TVs going.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, look how weird this looks on a stage, basically, for a movie.
Oh,
you know?
No, it does
Like,
look
look
a
how
little
true
bit
to life this looks. And like, well, I don't want it to look exactly like life, because then it
But
takes away the mystique of it.
The argument is that over a longer period of time, and if that's the way we watched movies all the time, that would be lessened, that we wouldn't see it. It's just because it's a change, and that's why we perceive it that way. But also what it's going to do for 3D, that's what is exciting to me about it. But it's a shame. Maybe if it's something that like people in LA and New York are raving about when it comes out, then maybe by the next year or the third film, we'll get it out here in Denver. So, anyway, speaking of Zero Dark 30, which we weren't going to talk about this, but we saw the trailer before this movie, and the people we were with were like, "Hey, do you guys think that's going to be good? Is it too soon to do this movie?" So I figured we should talk about it on the site.
I don't think it's too soon to do a movie about the death of Osama bin Laden, because fuck that guy.
Yeah, no, I understand. It does kind of feel weird. It does feel like taking advantage, but what I was trying to explain to them was that they were making this movie before we actually killed him, and then they just changed the end and sort of some
Was
of
the
the
original
plot.
name Kill Osama bin Laden?
Yeah, it was something like that. Or I think that was sort of the working title anyway. But they changed the title to the actual name of the actual mission where they actually killed Osama bin Laden.
So yeah, basically, for people who don't know, they had a script and then they just wrote the ending for how they found him.
Yeah. Which it's got Kyle Chandler and Joel Edgerton and Jessica Chastain in it. Like, I can't not want to see that movie.
I think it might be cool.
Yeah.
Of course, the trailer, all it did was not really show anything. It showed a
No.
map with a black line going across it.
And you know how I felt about the Hurt Locker, so I'm not entirely enthused by the idea of another movie about the military from her. But of course, most of that movie was good. Just the fucking end, man.
Still haven't seen it.
You should see it and then turn it off early.
Okay.
When's
When's it going to be streaming for free? Then I'll see it.
It might already be.
Really?
I don't
All right.
know.
If it is.
It's a few years old. You guys aren't going to give a shit about this, but next year we're going to get a Doctor Who movie.
Get the fuck out of here.
Wait, not an actual Doctor Who movie. It's a movie about Doctor Who. It's a movie about the guys who made Doctor Who back in the is it late 50s or early 60s?
So why don't you start that?
Early
They're going to make
60s.
a documentary about Doctor Who.
Thank you.
Wait,
And also, why are you telling us news we don't care about?
because there are some people listening who do give a shit, and because Doctor Who is awesome and it's not my fault.
Fair point. Fair point.
Okay.
But the
Ryan
story,
and I are going to go talk over here.
Yeah.
the story
anyways.
is actually pretty interesting because when you read about these guys who, like, one is a Canadian guy, one's a female producer, which at the time was pretty rare, and they get together to do a sci-fi show that was not crazy popular at the time. I think it's going to be pretty interesting.
As long as they're cool, I don't care. I'll watch.
Yeah.
I said I've seen a couple episodes of Doctor Who starring Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, but you didn't like them because they're not very good episodes.
Yeah, they're all right.
Yeah. You can legally torrent hundreds of movies on the internet now. The Internet Library has gotten access to a bunch of movies, including Plan 9 from Outer Space and His Girl Friday, a whole bunch of movies that you can just go and download for free. Most of them are old movies, but not all of them.
A lot of them.
Actually,
Is it because the copyrights ran out on them?
I don't know, because like the Fast and the Furious is one of them. Night of the Living Dead is one.
Oh, that
Reefer
one
Madness is
definitely.
one. Dressed to Kill.
Night of the Living Dead.
It's always been.
Always
public domain.
been in public domain.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a great commentary on the 30th anniversary that they made the prints, and all the prints they made were put in this warehouse that flooded, and the only surviving print that they sent to make copies didn't have a copyright on it.
Oh, wow.
So as soon as they released that movie, anybody could take it.
Huh.
So George Romero never made hardly any money off Night of the Living Dead.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Either way, it includes the Fast and the Furious, which I'd like to know a story on how that got on there. But I think it's interesting. You can go to the Internet Library and download a bunch of
Wait.
old movies. Some of them are really cool.
Isn't there like an old Fast and the Furious movie that they just took the title of? And
I don't believe so.
I think the new Fast and the Furious is just a revamping of an older movie with that title.
I don't know.
So maybe
Maybe
this is the old one.
You could be very right. While I look that up really quick, we can talk about the fact that Bob Hoskins is retiring.
Oh, cool. I actually didn't.
So we're never going to see Super Mario Brothers 2?
Maybe
aren't.
I guess not.
Or he's not going to be in Hook 2, or that movie that they're making about Rufio that is sort of a sequel to Hook, or the prequel or
Oh
something.
yeah, that guy's trying to make a Rufio
Yeah.
movie.
Rehook.
Dude, that would be an awesome title. Actually, there are about half a dozen movies called Fast and Furious. So
They should make a Hook trilogy.
And a lot of
Like
them
the
are
first
old,
one's Hook, the second one's Line, and the third one's Sinker.
Heyo.
But unfortunately, he has Parkinson's disease and is getting older, and so he's retired. Which
He's
is
good in
really
movies.
Sad. Yeah, man, I really liked him.
Yeah,
he
me
was
too.
in. This actually reminds me that he was in Snow White and the Huntsman. Which
He was.
That's right. He
I
was
feel
one
like
of
I
those.
hadn't seen him in a while, and it was nice to see him again. So, also to answer your question, yeah, there's a 1955 movie called The Fast and the Furious, which is
What's
probably
up?
the one. Good
Nice.
call. Good call.
I'm a real
Um,
nerd.
Anyway, that's news. Unless you got anything else.
No, that's all I got. Brad, you have any news?
No, my news was the Hoskins thing. So
You
Cool.
stiller of news.
Well, it's what I do.
Guess
actually,
what?
we had a Hook playing at the Esquire this weekend, and I had to miss it because
Bummer.
of the 48 hour.
I would have loved to see that.
I know. I was like actually trying to fit my schedule around. Like I think I can slip away for 2 hours.
You know what?
See
Fuck
this
this
movie.
movie I'm making. I gotta go see
Yeah.
Hook.
Yeah.
A
It's-
movie
it's
that's
weird how-
20 years old.
It's weird how
And I
there's
have it
a
on
whole
Blu-ray.
community of people who don't like that movie.
Yeah.
It's all right.
They just lack joy in their life.
They do.
I haven't seen it in a while. I have to watch it again.
Oh, dude, it's good.
Yeah.
They throw paint.
The script is really good. It's got some really brilliant lines in it.
Yeah.
Smart
And the
stuff.
actors are all amazing.
Oh, yeah. They do have really good actors in it.
The whole story with Dustin Hoffman and Peter's son, is so good.
Phil Collins, a detective in it.
Oh.
I was reading something interesting about Phil Collins.
He had to retire too because his back is all
Yeah.
screwed up from drumming.
But his greatest hits album was on sale for $5 or $3, and it jumped all the way up to number 6 on the Billboard charts last week.
Really?
An increase of 4,575%.
How
It's
come?
one of the biggest gains ever. Because they had the MP3 was only $5.
Wow.
So a lot of
Good for
people
him.
bought it. So yeah, go Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I read it in Entertainment Weekly. It's one of the biggest jumps ever in music history.
He had that really cool album recently where he did a bunch of covers of like
Motown
indie
songs.
movies, and he did
That he
that.
stole from Rod Stewart.
What? He did one that was a oh crap. Who's the band that did the Suburbs?
Arcade Fire.
Arcade Fire. He stole that Arcade Fire song, and then they used it for the John Carter trailer, which was amazing.
Phil Collins is also really important in movies. He does a lot of soundtracks.
He does.
Yeah.
He was like Disney's go-to guy there in the mid-'90s for a while.
Yep.
In Tarzan, which I think is a really underrated Disney movie.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a really bad Disney movie. What do you
Screw
think?
you, James.
So,
What do you think Phil Collins thinks about comic books?
You be in my long box. Yes, you be in my long box. Comic Quarter.
What's up, nerds? It's the Comics Corner.
There's not too many times you get me singing twice on the podcast.
I know. There's a lot
so
of this is a sing-along.
Enough time has passed that me and James can now talk about The Walking Dead 100,
Yeah,
which is a huge milestone for any independent comic to make it there.
it is.
I think
Especially something about zombies, because how often do you even see a story about zombies that goes that long?
and something I think I want to say Spawn and Savage Dragon are really the only ones I remember that have lasted that long.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe Witchblade. I think Witchblade's pretty old.
Yeah, I think Witchblade's gotten that far.
So yeah, it's kind of interesting.
It's certainly a milestone. It's one that Ryan and I don't entirely agree on.
We
But
don't.
we're going to count this as my week because I forgot last week too. So it's Walking Dead 100.
Yeah. You
which,
can hopefully still pick it up. I saw it.
oh yeah, there's so many copies
Oh yeah,
of it.
Mile High has
They
tons
did.
of them.
They did like 14 covers for this book.
So yeah, you should be able to find it. Spoilers: if you have not read issues 94 through 100, or is it 92?
No, I think. Are you talking about just Something to Fear? I
Yeah.
think it starts at 96.
Okay, so 96 through 100. Stop listening, because major spoilers coming up for The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Brad doesn't read The Walking Dead, so he
But
doesn't give a shit.
it also shouldn't matter for people who are only watching the TV show because they're never going to get this far.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can start if you want, James. I guess I can start with this.
They're getting to a place now, and Kirkman has said this for years, that he feels like the zombies aren't scary in the book anymore. There's
Which I
nothing,
disagree.
There's nothing that he can do to really bring tension back. So he wanted, with the start of this new long story arc post issue 100, he wanted to bring something to fear back. And of course, in a zombie book, it's always people. But this time, unlike the other times where there's been like one badass dude, this is really like an army, a militia of sort of post-apocalyptic gangsters that I think are scarier than the governor ever was. But Ryan disagrees.
I do. I think The Walking Dead's been dragging its feet for about 20 issues now. I don't. It's kind of just. Oh, Carl got shot. Oh, Rick and Andrea slept together.
Yeah.
It just seems like they just keep on moving from. My biggest problem with Kirkman's writing right now is he just moves from the same thing with just different characters. If it's, I think the governor is relatable to
Negan.
Negan, because it's it's just another guy who's really bad, and to me, I still think the zombies are terrifying, and I think the book actually suffers when he doesn't introduce them again for a while. I mean, there'll be 3 or 4 issues in a row where you don't even see them.
Yeah.
And it's people talking. And I understand that it's hard, and there's shocking moments in issue 100. There really is.
Oh yeah.
But I sometimes
fucking gruesome art. Really, really
Yeah.
gruesome. Like as I was reading, because I knew something was coming, I found myself not wanting to turn the page because I was like, something bad is going to happen, and things are already bad enough that like I know that what happens next is going to be bad.
Yeah, I think though that the art was so exaggerated that it was kind of cartoony to me. I mean, me and James really disagree on this book. One of my biggest problems with Kirkman, I don't know if I've ever voiced it on the podcast, is that he writes really juvenile sometimes.
Yeah.
He puts curse words, and you know me, I don't care about curse words, but sometimes if you don't write
He
them,
lets them get in the way.
Yeah, they get in the way, exactly. So I think sometimes it's an out for him where he says, fuck this shit. And you're just like, dude. And he'll have people yelling, saying, you fucking pussy, I don't fucking care what you... To me, it's just really bizarre. I don't think
and Negan is that under a microscope.
Yeah,
like, Negan, every other word is fuck.
Yeah, there's literally a balloon where he says... fucking this fucking shit, my fucking shit, or something like that.
He says it quite a bit.
It's literally fuck you fucking piece of fucking shit.
Because he is like, this character is a grown-up schoolyard bully. And the reason I think it's different from the Governor is that with the Governor, like, they were setting up, they had set up a place where they were safe, but they weren't really building a civilization. They weren't building a post-apocalyptic society. Whereas the Hill really is that. Like, there's enough people there where Rick is no longer just responsible for a small group of people. He's now responsible for a lot of people. Like, they're making it seem like it's hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And then it's the fate of the world itself balanced against this guy who is a bully who wants to just control things with fear. And that's why I think it's different. Because the Governor just wants their stuff and then burns all their shit down. This guy wants to... It's a question between, all right, we're going to restart the world with zombies in it and have a new, like, civilization, but this guy wants it to be his civilization and we want it to be ours, and that's the conflict that I think is interesting. But you're right. It's a really juvenile character.
The one part of the book I thought was really strong was when Negan was going around and kind of picking out who he was going to hurt.
Yeah. It's really meta.
I mean, it was really tense, and I mean, but I did super major spoilers. Issues leading up to it, how Glenn was talking about, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I don't want to be with you anymore, Rick. I'm sorry. I'm going to start my life. Issue 98. I was like, oh well, they're going to kill Glenn in issue 100. I already knew they were going to do it, and then. I mean, I didn't expect him to get killed that way, but
I think what sucks about it is it's not like they just shoot him in the face like they did with Abraham. It's that we have to watch everybody else watch Negan beat the shit out of him till he's dead, and that's why turning those pages is fucking brutal. Because you want Rick to do something, but you also know he can't. Like, you feel very helpless reading those pages, and that's what I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, so I hope that. When it goes in a new direction, it'll pick up. Yeah. Because, too, I haven't liked the character of Rick in a long time.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with you there.
So I hope that he kind of finds his footing again. Mm-hmm. I think this century mark hopefully will help him with that.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing I kind of thought he had with the Hill. I was starting to like Rick again because I haven't liked Rick since the Hunters. Mm-hmm. Like, Rick does some fucked up shit, and he's been like grieving over what he did for 30 books. So,
yeah, no, I agree. So
anyway,
yeah, it's still an interesting book. I mean, I still recommend it.
Oh yeah,
because I always have faith. There's always those times where it drags, but then you get those 4 or 5 issues where you're reading and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is the best book on the market.
Yeah.
So
there's a reason that book sells more every month than it ever has.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that it will continue. So, thanks. Yeah, pick up The Walking Dead 100 to see what all the controversy is about. And let us know if I'm right or James is right.
Yeah. Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics.
Colorado's Coins, Cards, and Comics are sold out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, Enchanted Ground. No, don't go to Enchanted Grounds.
Go to Mile High Comics because their shipment of 5,000 of them got lost on their way to San Diego, so they have a bunch of them. So, yeah, you can pick them up there. Because Brad got me a copy there. Thanks, Brad.
That's right. And they had so many different covers, I didn't know what to do.
I told him to give me the most badass one, and it's Michonne chopping a zombie's head in half.
Which is that Ryan Otley cover. It's a great cover about that one.
It is. It's awesome. Cool. So now we're going to move on to stuff we've been watching.
So, this is the stuff we've been watching.
I watched so much shit this week. My wife lost her car key, so she had to take my car to work one day, and I was off for that day. So I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? I literally turned on Amazon Prime, and I would just pick movies randomly.
Oh, yeah?
Except for one. The first movie I watched was God Bless America.
Is it that...
Bobcat Goldthwait?
Yeah. Really?
In light of recent events, there's a shooting in a theater, so it kind of pulled me out of it for a second. But even leading up to that, I didn't think it was really that special.
To shoot a baby in the beginning, I heard.
Yeah. There's
That's fucked up.
The character in it, he's suffering from a tumor in his brain, so he suffers from horrible migraines, and he starts by talking about this monologue about how fucked up society is and how TV, it's all about, who's the most outrageous on reality shows, which is, kind of true. And it starts off kind of interesting. I mean, I laughed out loud when he was watching a reality show and this girl took a bloody tampon out of her vagina and threw it on somebody. That was pretty funny. And then...
Somebody really did that once.
Really?
Yeah, some musician on stage did that once.
Oh, well, I
like
thought he was just being funny, but...
No.
So he does shoot a baby at the beginning. His neighbors are like watching TV really loud and their baby's always screaming. So he walks in there and he shoots the husband, and then the mom screams and throws her baby in the air, and then he shoots the baby and blood flies everywhere. He was just dreaming. So his daughter doesn't love him, and he's going to die from this brain tumor, and he watches a reality show where the spoiled brat is on there and saying how she's crying and screaming because she wanted a Lexus SUV and she got a car, and her parents are saying, oh yeah, it's our fault, we should have got the car she wanted. So he goes to her school and he meets this other girl who catches him like spying on her, and so she walks away, and then he goes to blow up her car with her in it, and the rag that catches on fire blows away, so then he just shoots her in the face, and then that little girl joins him on their cross-country murder spree. Did you see it?
I heard an interview with Bobcat Goldthwait talking about these plot points.
Yeah, so they did that, and to me, I mean,
do you like anybody?
No.
Okay.
The point of the movie is basically Bobcat Goldthwait is definitely a super left-wing liberal, and again, I don't make any qualms about who I vote for, but sometimes it gets annoying.
Yeah.
It's so they kill a guy who's like Glenn Beck, and then they have these monologues where they go on about how much they hate Juno and stuff, and it's like, it's really bizarre. And so then they kill people in a movie theater because they were talking, so it kind of really sucked me out of it. So it was hard for me to get back into the movie. But yeah, whatever. If you're bored and you want to hear a bunch of monologues about people that obviously Bobcat Goldthwait hates, then you can watch it.
Being that monologues and rhetoric are the reason why I don't think that Fight Club is that cool a movie.
Oh, then you won't like this movie at all.
Yeah, this sounds
terrible.
like my nightmare.
I also watched Matthew Perry's new show called Go On.
Oh yeah, I've seen so many freaking commercials for that.
Which I actually thought was pretty funny. It was more serious than I thought it was going to be.
Really? Because the commercials are like slapsticky.
Go On. I thought it was called Goon. But
it does kind of look like that. Matthew Perry plays a character who's a sportscaster, or I guess a sports radio guy, and he's like cutting edge, like but he's in a funny way. Like Kevin Garnett's on a show and he says, "Hey, who's the ugliest player in the NBA?" And just so he's like kind of goofy. But this show opens with he's at his job and he's not supposed to be back because his wife just died, and they said you need to go to 10 sessions of grief counseling to come back to work, and it has to be signed by your therapist. And so he goes to this group session, and there's a really funny moment where he's pitting everybody against each other, like a Final Four bracket, like who has the most sad story. And part that made me laugh out loud is there's an old black guy, and he's blind. And so Matthew Perry says, "Okay, tell us your sad story." And he goes, "Wait, who said that? I can't see you because I'm blind." And so he moved on in the next bracket. And then it took this really serious turn about he had the lady sign off his thing because she was tired of dealing with his bullshit. And he goes back to work, and he's interviewing. The real Terrell Owens is there. And as Terrell Owens is leaving, he's texting while he's driving, and he kind of loses it, and he throws stuff at Terrell Owens and is going to fight him. And then he goes back to the group session, and you find out that his wife was killed while she was texting and driving. So it's kind of he has to learn to deal with his grief.
Yeah.
And it is actually pretty funny and kind of heart as touching. So I will be watching it again when it comes back on September 11th. So yeah, check it out. Go on.
Maybe I will.
It kind of has a feel of Community.
What channel is it on?
NBC.
Wow.
There's no laugh track or anything, but it kind of has a when I say the feel of Community, it's not as like goofy as Community, but it has the music cues and people sitting around and talking.
Gotcha.
I also saw Batman Under the Red Hood, which is
yeah.
I wanted to see it after you told me about it, and it's pretty good. I actually like the story in the comic books about how Jason Todd comes back, and this follows it really close.
Yeah,
really close. There's my favorite scene is when Batman figures out who that Jason Todd is the Red Hood, and then Jason Todd kidnaps the Joker, and they're in this apartment, and Jason Todd he asks Bruce, he says, you know, of all the people you throw away, you wouldn't kill the one person who killed me, and was I that unimportant to you? And there's like a great powerful scene where the Joker is saying, this is all I could ask for, because they both pull a gun on people and Batman refuses to kill the Joker, and it's brilliant. That whole scene in that little apartment is really, for a kids show, you're like, whoa. I guess it's not made for kids, I guess. But I was actually pretty impressed with it. It makes me want to see the other ones.
Oh, absolutely. And that opening sequence of the Joker beating.
Oh yeah,
like it's intense. I mean,
it is.
Man,
and
that's a great movie.
Yes, and I mean they. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
I saw it on Blu-ray and it looks fantastic.
Especially like if you're one of the people who's been listening to us talk about the Batman show, and you're like, I would like to watch that, but you don't want to go buy the Batman show. Do this because you can get it on Netflix real easy.
Yeah,
actually, the animated series is on Amazon Prime.
Is it really?
So
what?
You could be
for free?
watching those. No, not for free.
Oh,
I'm not going to pay for it.
Yeah.
You can pay for the DVD.
Well, I'll pay the $20 now for us on sale. They are on Amazon Prime. But yeah, I think everybody should check it out. It's a really cool little story.
Yeah.
And then I watched the interview with Denny O'Neil at the end, and he was saying that he's glad that the internet wasn't around because he didn't want people to know that he was the guy who killed Robin. I don't think people give a shit. Sorry, Robin's not that cool.
Yeah.
But I do like the Red Hood character, and I like, and I think it's interesting that Jason Todd was only killing people that were bad, and he's trying to prove a point that he's a more extreme Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of interesting. So yeah, you should check out Under the Red Hood. I also saw a movie called Zombie Death House.
What?
Yeah, it's not good. It's an 80s movie, and it starts off as a Vietnam vet becomes a chauffeur for a mobster, and it's so low budget that literally half the movie is him driving around and doing a monologue while he's driving around and then having conversations with people. And
in the car.
No one's in the car. Like it's like he's driving and he says, "Hey Cap, how's it going? Oh, it's been so bad since the war ended." And
oh no.
And then John Saxon, who is in the original Nightmare on Elm Street, is the director and he stars in it. And so he gets entangled with the mob guy's wife, and then the wife is murdered by the mob boss, and he's framed, and he has to go to a prison where they're doing experiments on the prisoners, and they turn them into zombies. But the zombies really don't show up. It's really bad.
So what? Oh wow, what's the point of even having him like framed by the?
Because they could put him in a prison that has zombies in it. I don't know. It doesn't.
Couldn't you
make any
just
sense.
like start with him in the prison and he's a Vietnam vet and maybe he killed somebody on accident and then there's zombies in a prison? That sounds cool.
See, that sounds way more interesting than Zombie Death House.
You don't need mob people.
And
there's zombies in a prison, zombie prison.
Yeah, so I won't recommend that unless you're really bored. It is streaming for free on Amazon Prime, so hey, and there's lots of boobs in it.
Lockdown
at the
zombies.
And the last thing I saw was a movie called, what the fuck was it called? Devil's Playground, which is basically a ripoff of 28 Days Later, where people are infected and they run around and eat people. But the people they had play the infected people in it are doing parkour. So the only thing I could think of the whole time is the episode of The Office where Michael, Dwight, and Andy are doing parkour around the office.
I believe it's season 5, episode 1.
It is season 5, episode 1. Yeah, and every time they were jumping, I just heard parkour, because these zombies are just like doing the parkour, even like poses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it, but they're like, it was all right though. It's actually not too bad, to tell you the truth. But yeah, that's what I told you I watched tons this week.
Man.
And that's what I watched this week. I also saw Return of the Joker on Batman Beyond.
I'm glad you said that because I watched it too.
Nice.
That
So
was on my
Oh,
list.
really?
segue into Brad to
Oh,
talk
man,
about what
I've been
you
itching
saw.
to watch that because I've never seen it.
Oh.
You can borrow my Blu-ray.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't talk about it then.
Yeah.
Well, I know that the Joker comes back,
Yeah.
and I know, like
but you don't
yeah.
know why.
Yeah, you don't know. Oh, it's
You're right. I
good.
don't.
I will say this. I won't talk about it then, but because I have a bunch of other stuff anyway. But I did forget the twist of the episode. I thought it was something else, and the
twist is amazing.
Here's what we can promise. Of course, I won't be here next week. But I can borrow it, and we can talk about it 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I'll let you borrow it. But
I'm impressed that I was able to forget it, and then it was like watching again. It was able to refresh me, and like, oh, that's why.
Yeah, when I was watching it, because I did forget too. I forgot I remember.
I forgot it was one thing because there's a character missing in the whole movie,
yeah.
and it's okay.
Yeah, and then when it happened, I'm like, oh, that's fucking right. That's what happens in this movie.
Yeah.
But I will tell the coolest part about it is Paul Dini's able to write the last Batman and Joker story, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man,
And kind of sick and twisted.
it's
yeah.
really sick because it's rated PG-13,
Yeah.
but the Blu-ray is uncut, so it's even like a step above PG-13.
Oh,
So it has moments in it that are just, dude.
And I loved Batman Beyond. I really did.
Oh,
How I
man.
never saw that movie.
The scene where the Joker is talking to Batman in the projector room. Oh my gosh, dude! Talk about Mark Hamill just knocking it out of the park.
I hate you guys. I'm sorry. I'm the worst person.
I watched a bunch of Volume 4 Batman Animated Series 2, and the animation change kind of gets me. And, like, it's almost too clean and simplified. Yeah, after watching the other 3 volumes where it's all very gritty, and then it loses all those awesome opening title cards.
I love those.
Like they just put text on and
that
start
sucks.
the show. Yeah.
I don't remember. But those title cards, I used to when I watch them on DVD, I fast forward the opening because I've seen it so many times. But I always stopped so I can see the title card.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, but I was actually surprised because the first couple episodes are like, oh my god, this is just like really watered down. These plots are really ridiculous. These aren't the characters being themselves. It's just like, but then every once in a while on the disc, like every 4th or 5th episode, it delves into this like really weighty and important episode, and like the most of the volume deals with, they kind of space it out across episodes of how Batman and Robin split up, and like how Robin went off and became Nightwing, and so like Tim Drake's trying to figure out that mystery, and Barbara already knows. And I kind of I watched it really fast, so I'm going to talk about all those episodes later. But the one I want to highlight for this episode is called Legends of the Dark Knight. It starts out with these 3 kids roaming the city trying to like catch a glimpse of Batman, and they all talk about their idea of what Batman is. And so I think there's 3 parts to it, and there's this really cool thing in between those stories that I'll tell. But basically, the first one is this one kid tells like his idea of Batman, and it's drawn as like a classic like 1920s, 1930s Batman Joker story, and Batman's like tied to a giant piano, and you know it's the clown prince of crime type Joker, and he's even drawn with the man who laughs face and everything.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then the next kid talks about no, Batman like fights mutants in the future, and so it's a Dark Knight Returns animation before they're releasing the new one anyway. But so there's that one, and then in between those 2 stories is they're walking down the street. I think what it was. Anyway, they come across this long-haired kid, and he's talking like he's stroking this costume or something. He's talking about how fabulous it looks, and what he's talking about like what he thinks Batman's costume is. And if you're paying really close attention, it's actually like a throw at Joel Schumacher. It's just like, that kid seems like he's a little feminine. And he's talking about the bat costume, and he says it's fabulous and stuff. I'm like, they're poking fun at Joel Schumacher on that one.
No.
And then, there's like the Legends of the Dark. The one girl who's talking about that story is actually animated to look like the female Robin from Dark Knight Returns. So when it transitions from like telling her, like her as the character in the real world, to her telling the story, like she suddenly has the costume on, and she looks like, I forget what the future Robin's name is, but
Awesome.
so that's a cool episode. And there's, I think, something else at the end that's a cool throwback, but I'll talk about those later.
I totally remember that episode.
So, but that was cool. It's like after watching all these kind of like, okay, these are just sort of ridiculous, over the top stories. They have this one that's like harkening back to all the the actual comic books and stuff. So that was
what's
awesome.
the deal with Volume 4? What was the change?
I think they went to the actual WB because the animated series used to be on Fox.
That's right.
And I think they probably just wanted to save a little money production-wise, so
Yeah.
they simplified the character design
Probably
so
lost
that
some
the Asian
writers
animators could pump them out
Yeah.
faster.
Ooh.
But they actually ended up pumping out fewer episodes. So,
Yeah, weird.
and then the whole volume doesn't have like a finite conclusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's and then there's also an episode where they work in Jonah Hex. Which
Oh
was
yeah,
really
I
bizarre.
remember that one.
Jonah Hex
I
and
done
Ra's
it
al Ghul.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was when it came on. I was like, "What is this? And is this all about Jonah?" Oh
And
man,
they reran that episode a lot.
did they? I
A
never
lot,
saw
a
it.
lot. So I remember a lot of him just walking in the desert, and I don't know who the shit Jonah Hex is when I'm 8 years old or whatever.
I will say the end of the episode is amazing.
Oh.
The conclusion to it is like,
I remember actually liking it. I just
yeah. I guess I can talk about it. Basically, you spend this whole time following Jonah Hex through this episode of like trying to stop Ra's al Ghul, and the guy that Ra's al Ghul's secondhand man is like really screwing things up for Jonah Hex.
yeah.
And so they have this big battle on an airship, and then the episode starts out with Batman hunting down Ra's al Ghul at this nursing home. Ra's al Ghul kidnaps this guy and then leaves a tape of this story about Jonah Hex tracking him down in the past or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you're listening to Batman's driving, trying to get to the airfield to stop Ra's al Ghul. Along the way, they listen to the tape, and then when they get to the airfield, you find out that the guy they kidnapped is actually a son of Ra's al Ghul, and he's been off Ra's al Ghul's radar all this time, and he just wanted to take his son home. And that's why he
Yeah.
kidnapped him. And so Ra's al Ghul just like he's staring at Batman. He's like, can you just let me go this one time because I just want to spend some time with my son before he dies because he hasn't been able to Lazarus him all the
Yeah.
So Batman actually just lets him go.
Wow.
It's like he gets it, like it's family. So I'll let this one slide. So
That is
that was
kinda
really
cool.
touching. Yeah,
I don't remember actually knowing any of that part. I just remember like Jonah Hex in the desert.
yeah. I was surprised it had that ending because it's like they blow up the airship and everyone, hero wins, and then it cuts to. Oh yeah, there was this other part where Batman was actually in the
Right.
episode, and
Yeah.
it's actually. Oh yeah, they're trying to explain the origin of this other character who is his son.
Huh.
Who he
Cool.
treats terribly, like in the past. Gets on his case a lot, and then So, and then the last thing I watched was I forgot to look it up. I think it's a Swedish or Norwegian movie called Clown.
Oh yeah,
I
with the
heard
K.
about that, yeah.
Yeah. And it's I think it's really funny, but I don't know if I can recommend it because it's a different kind of humor, and you have to read subtitles all the time
Mhm.
and hope that it's funny. But yeah, I don't know if it's one of the best things I watched, but it was funny. Like it was funny to watch that one time
Where'd you see it?
at the Colfax Film Center.
Oh, okay.
It's really raunchy.
It's from Denmark.
Denmark, okay.
Crazy Danes.
Yeah, it's got some really funny, like extreme, over the top, subversive gags in it. I don't know if I should talk about one of them. The movie starts out right away with it's about this guy who finds out that his wife has been keeping a secret that she is pregnant because she's not sure he's going to be a good enough father because he's still really immature and stuff. So she's been keeping that secret, and so when he finds out that she thinks he's ill fit to be a dad, he starts trying to prove that he's a good dad. But right off the bat, he tells this to his reading club buddies, and he doesn't actually read the books. He just goes there to hang out with everybody. And so his reading club buddies say to prove that you love her and you want to be there for her, you need to give her a pearl necklace. And
No.
he's like, I don't have enough money. They're like, no, you don't understand. You got to do the other thing. and then when it's done, tell her you love her.
Uh,
So he's like, yeah, I'll just try and actually buy the necklace. And then he goes home, and then meanwhile, they're taking care of his nephew, Bo. And so he stays the night, and then she's gone for some reason. But overnight, some thieves break into their apartment, ransack the place, and instead of like taking Bo away, he just takes off and leaves the kid behind. So when his wife comes back and finds out that he's a huge coward, he's like, now I'm really in the doghouse. I know what I'll do. I'll go give her a pearl necklace. And so he jerks off on her and then finds out that her mother is staying over, and so he gets it in her eye, and she has to go to the hospital. So he's really in the doghouse, and then he later, after that, he has to go take Bo to the grandparents or something, and then he joins up with his friend who is on the Tour de Pussy. They're supposed to go to this brothel that's like open once a year, and it's run by one of the reading group guys, and more crazy, disturbing stuff happens along the way.
you see the best movies.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I know. I was expecting like Kevin Smith level raunchy, and this is,
Does it have a good ending? At the end, are you like, oh, that's sweet?
the kid's trying to collect bottle caps to win this toy car, so they hijack a bus, and steal the car at gunpoint when they don't give him
What?
the
Wow,
car.
in Denmark, they have weird ways.
They
Yeah.
do.
And then the wife realizes that's a nice gesture, that he was willing to go to jail for the kid after they really ruin his life earlier,
Oh my god!
and he almost drowns. And actually, the very, very end, when they accidentally show all the photos from his buddy's cell phone in front of the family at his party, the kid's confirmation party. And so there's some really nasty photos from the trip that you didn't know were taken.
Oh.
Yeah. Denmarkians, right?
Yeah.
Yay!
Danes? Sorry, Danes.
Danes.
James,
Well.
what did you watch? Since I just brought this down with my foreign film.
Whew. Just two quick things. There is a Bryan Singer produced online web series called H Plus that just started, and it's sort of a it's like 5 to 7 minute little sequences. There's only 2 of them out so far, but I think it's going to be 7 or 9 episodes long. So it'll be like one episode of a TV show. And basically it's about this world where it's in the future and technology has gotten to a point where people have like tiny little computers inside their bodies that do all kinds of stuff that actually lets them like see computer interfaces in front of them. And it's a really cool visual style. But then these people who are in a parking complex, like a substructure parking complex, all of a sudden something happens and people who have this just start falling over dead, but the people who are lower down are okay because they're far enough away from like whatever virus or whatever is making this happen that they survive, and that's where they are post episode 2, and it's really cool. Like for a what seems to be fairly independently produced. Obviously, Bryan Singer's involved, so there's some money, but it kind of looks like a high budget student film, like one of those really good ones that 2 years later whoever directed that is doing District 9 or whatever. It feels like one of those, and it's pretty cool. So I would say go check it out. It's
Where can you find
10 minutes worth of. It's all on YouTube. If you just type in H Plus, it'll show up, or if you just Google it, they've got a website. Slash Film did a whole article about it. But the big thing was I finally got to go see Beasts of the Southern Wild, which is actually at AMC, because AMC does that thing where they have indie movies at their theaters. So that was pretty cool because it meant that I didn't have to go spend an afternoon at the Mayan when it was hot and they don't have air conditioning.
I know, right?
I'm sorry. Like, I like that theater, but I only like going in the wintertime.
They still haven't fixed it? Damn.
Well, yeah, it's always really hot in there. Plus, like, the Mayan relegated it to upstairs real quickly, and it's not at the Esquire yet. And I really don't like the upstairs at the Mayan. The Esquire I like more, but anyway, this movie is great. This movie is really good. It's the movie that, coming out of Sundance, everybody was talking about. It's sort of a post-apocalyptic movie where basically, actually, America is fine, but the ice caps have started to melt, and so America builds a giant levee around most of mainland America so that the
Like
water
Waterworld?
kind of. So the water doesn't come in, but there are parts, especially like in Louisiana and stuff, where things are swampy, where people still want to live on this land because that's where they have had their families for forever, but it's outside the levee, and that's where this movie takes place. And I don't think that's spoilers because they tell you that pretty dang quick. But it follows this girl who lives in this little town that they call the Bathtub with her father, and it's really about this relationship between her father and her, and about her sort of having to grow up as things are getting even more shitty in this society. Her having to grow up and go on these adventures to find out sort of who she is and become strong enough that she can survive in this future that may be worse for her than people would have expected. And it's really good, especially the performance by this lead actress is fantastic, especially for a little girl. I don't even know what to say about it because it's just something you have to see because it's not like any other movie that I've ever seen. It tends to be pretty quiet. Most of the scenes are really just like her and her father in the shack arguing, but their arguments are interesting and feel very honest. And then the whole third act is just amazing. I don't want to spoil what happens because eventually the story takes you to a place that you didn't expect you'd go, and then you come back and things have to change. But I will say this. I was really close to crying, and next time I see it, I probably will cry. It's got very much of a the river runs through it. Hey.
Wait,
It's
so
got-
it's a little girl?
Yeah, the main character is like an 8-year-old girl.
Because in the trailer, like, she goes, "Who's the man?" "I'm the man."
Yeah.
And that's a little girl.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, because that's the thing. She's got to,
A two.
be strong. Well, no, in that scene, she's learning how to eat
I thought it was a little
crabs.
boy throughout the whole trailer.
You jerk. No, it's not. But it's really good. It's got, what I was going to say is it's got a monologue at the end that is very A River Runs Through It reminiscent, which I have a special place in my heart for that monologue. So I thought it was fantastic. You just take an afternoon, go see this movie because it's well worth it. You don't want to miss it.
Cool. This week from our Comic-Con interviews, we did an interview with David Boop, who is a local author and also the MC for the 2012 Denver Comic-Con. So,
Yeah.
hey, Brad, go ahead and let's roll that interview. Hi, welcome to Day 3 of Denver Comic-Con. I remember that part. We are with
David Boop.
who is the official MC of Denver Comic-Con 2012. We were told we're the official podcast because we're the only ones here that were on the first day.
Well, and I can't say that because I have other MCs I'm competing for in a Highlander sort of battle.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So
There can only be one.
Yeah.
How many heads have you collected?
Well, I'm about after the podcast, of course, because I don't want to ruin the podcast. I'm going to collect one.
That's fine. You know, we lost our previous conversation, and you were talking about how awesome it was to do the Tron panel. Can you remember your story behind that?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It was real interesting as growing up, being a fan of the movies, being able to sit up there with these two iconic characters that I grew up with 30 years later. And it's just like a fanboy's dream, you know. You have to you have to separate the fanboy. You can't just keep going, "You're so great."
Yeah, I recognize it to using the Force.
Yeah.
You know, when you use the Force, you pull yourself out of your body, and you have to be, professional. And because there was a moment at the James Marsters panel today where I could totally have geeked out with him.
Yeah.
Because his favorite horror movie is my favorite horror movie. So,
And which is that?
Night of the Living Dead.
Excellent.
What did Bruce say about what it was like before they made that movie and they were going into this thing that was going to be a historical CG movie? What did he say?
Well,
about
I had
that?
asked them, when they were reading the script, did they know that they were making, basically film history the first time that you incorporate computer graphics with film? And they're like, we had no clue. We didn't even really know what a computer was at that time.
I was like, did they even have previs or anything? Probably
No,
not.
they wouldn't have been. I mean, it would have been.
Storyboards, I
Storyboarding,
guess.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's all they showed them was a couple of cartoon drawings. You know, it was Disney, so everything's a cartoon. So they showed him a cartoon of what it was going to look like when it was done. But they're running around. He said they were running around on completely black sets and had no idea what it was going to look like afterwards, because the film process takes a certain amount of low light to be able to bring the suits out. So yeah, so they had no clue. The first time they saw it was pretty much the first time it was screened for them, and got to see all the CGI, and they had no idea.
That's really cool. So you got this. You got to be the MC here because they saw you at a con down in Colorado Springs.
Correct.
And Marsters was the biggest one you've ever done, correct?
Yes, absolutely. There I did Chase Masterson and Fraser Hines from Doctor Who, and David J. Howe and Sam Stone, a couple other British authors that had come over, and Chase is awesome. But I'd known Chase for a while going into this, so I'm up on stage with somebody I know, and we're just talking back and forth and having fun with it and so forth. And then I also did Kevin J. Anderson, New York Times best-selling author, Kevin J. Anderson. You have to say that. It's anytime you mention him, you have to mention New York Times
probably
best-selling
in his contract.
It's his new name.
So, and so it was real easy with them. This was the first time it was somebody I knew nothing about, and such a huge fan following. I'm standing up there with 3,000 people in front of me, easily, and I'm like, wow, this is the big show. And I had been in broadcast journalism for years, on the radio, in newspaper, on television, and also online, and so I was comfortable giving interviews, but I wasn't comfortable doing an interview in front of an audience. And so there was a lot of moments there going into it. And then we were delayed by like 20 minutes before we even got started. So we're in this hot back hallway. So, we both came out there, with sweat stains and stuff like that. I was like, oh, my God, I'm up here with James Marsters, and I probably smell.
Yeah, I stand a guard outside the doorway to not let anybody go in and bother him. He was on his iPhone. He's probably making a great decision in his next acting gig.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are you working on next? Where can people find you?
Well, I'm an author, first and foremost, before any of this type of stuff. This I do for fun, but what I actually am is an author. I have one novel out called She Murdered Me with Science. It's a sci-fi noir set in the 50s, scientist detective. And I also have a series of short stories, a lot of them in the weird Western sort of environment. So if you're a fan of Cowboys and Aliens or Jonah Hex, the comic book, so
that's cool.
That's the type of stuff that I write. And so I'm always publishing short stories on a regular basis. And this summer I'm working on 2 novels. So,
wow.
What's the most embarrassing moment that you've seen hosting a panel? Has anything crazy happened?
Well, as a writer, I'll tell you this one. I was on a writer about animal uplift. Do you know what animal uplift is? The idea of raising the intelligence of animals to human.
Yeah.
For whatever reasons. In fiction, it's slave labor. In a story I did, which is why I was on the panel, it was for space exploration, because animals could handle certain planets that, us humans don't even want to set foot on. So the idea was, so this panel was all about animals in fiction and uplifts and so forth. And these 2 women on the panel, there's 4 of us, 2 men, 2 women. These 2 women got into a fight on whether or not animals had souls.
Wow.
And they just went to, like, I hate to say, cat-like, but they just went to town on each other.
Pun intended.
Well, you don't know what you're talking about. Such and such philosopher says, philosopher nothing. Let's talk about science. And they got into it. And me and the other guy were just like, our jaws were just dropping. And it's like, ladies, and it just spiraled down from there.
Wow. That's crazy.
Wow.
Well,
Yes.
Sorry, you got
No, I was going to say, are you going to pimp anything while you're on our show? Would you like to, advertise
for a good
anything?
time, call.
Where can people find you?
Yeah.
My website, www.davidboop.com, or my Facebook fan page, which is facebook.com/dboop_updates. You can find me there. My next convention is in Seattle. I'm going to be doing WesterCon in Seattle over the July 4th weekend. Then it's Bubonicon in New Mexico and WorldCon in Chicago.
Wow.
That's my summer, and the fall is just as crazy. If we're talking local people, Mile High Con, I do that every year. It's
Cool.
my home con. I live around the corner from it, so it's great. I just, I can go, I can drink all night, I can walk home. It's just great.
Awesome.
Or stumble. home.
Stumble, either way, whatever is
Yeah.
best. I don't know what I was going to say there. I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something clever, but then I couldn't think of anything clever to say, and it was gone. It was gone.
Yeah, no, it has. It is late in the day Sunday. And
It is definitely a Sunday. There is no doubt about it.
It is.
And unlike a lot of other cons I go to, which have distinctive after party sort of things, there were a few parties, and I bounced around to them. There was the big concert at the Hard Rock and so forth. But I shouldn't be this tired.
Yeah.
I really shouldn't, but I am.
Oh,
This was exhausting. There was a lot of prep beforehand, and there was a lot of energy here. And that energy, you're picking it up from the people. These people are wonderful. Yeah. There's so much energy from them. The guests have energy, and they're up for the audience. And then finally, when your job's done, like mine is now, it's somebody cut Pinocchio's cords, and now I'm just like,
Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed. What is your favorite thing you're going to take away from this year?
Well, probably the fact that I got through this, that I got through it, and I was professional at all times. Nobody can come back and say, "Oh man, my God, I can't believe you said that," up there, and you look like a fool next to these guys or anything like that. So confidence. If I have to say one thing I get out of it, it's confidence. I also got a really screaming Spider-Girl print from Matt Campbell, who has a booth over there. I'm going to pimp him. Matt Campbell, if you haven't seen Matt Campbell's art, it's fabulous. He has a comic book called Mythica, but he does this awesome Spider-Girl print. And if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth seeing. And I'm taking that away with me.
Awesome.
That's my swag for the weekend. So.
Well, thanks for stopping by, David. We appreciate
absolutely.
it. It's
Thank
nice
you for
meeting you
having
this
me.
weekend.
Yeah, no, it was a pleasure working with you guys. And if you ever need anything, just let me know.
Oh, thanks. We appreciate it.
We'll look forward to seeing you next year, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Sounds
absolutely.
great. Take care.
Thank you. Hey, David. Thanks for stopping by. Me and David, also James' panel. He did the first one. I did the second one. So we have that connection. We met him at Mile High Comics the night before. So thanks, David. You sent us an email about when you're going to show up on the show. And, hey, guess what? It's this week.
Yeah. So if you're still waiting for your interview, just email us and we'll
email us.
We'll rush it.
And we'll rush it because
Ask any show receive.
we have so many that sometimes I forget.
I know. We've
Like-
still got like 20 to go.
Like
really?
last
Yeah.
week, me and
Oh,
James
wow.
were like, "Oh, who should we do?" And we just remembered the Loki girls.
Yeah, because they were cool.
They were cool, and the first people we interviewed. So this week, guys, we saw The Bourne Legacy.
We did. I remember now.
Yeah, finally got to it, huh? So, Brad, should people go see The Bourne Legacy?
Yeah, it's good.
James?
Yeah, absolutely. If you like the other Bourne movies, I think this is an interesting addition to it.
Meh.
As someone who forgot about the other Bourne movies, like what happened, it was just fun to watch. It was kind of self-encapsulated, I thought.
Well, there's very little plot in the first three, and this one actually is something of a like a prequel-ish kind of movie because it sort of tries to explain some of what happens. But
I
you'll
thought it
have
was
to see
all
it
right.
to know.
Here's the trailer.
What's your name? Kent Gibson. Will you give yourself to this program? Yes, sir.
There is nothing that you wouldn't do for this country. You have the strength to do what's necessary.
How is he?
He's cramped.
Oh, that has healed well.
What do you think that we do out there, Doc?
Jason Bourne was the tip of the iceberg.
It's Aaron Cross. We have never seen evaluations like this. He's Treadstone without the inconsistency.
I've never met anybody in the program. So how many of us are there? You ask too many questions.
Jason Bourne is in Manhattan.
Confirmed.
What?
That's all I have. Gotta go.
People, listen up. This is a national security emergency.
The FBI is investigating links between Treadstone and this man, Jason Bourne.
I go down for this, Mark. You were given a Ferrari, and your people treated it like a lawnmower.
You're asking me to wipe the most valuable assets we've ever put in the field.
You start to consider the magnitude of what we're facing if this moves sideways on us?
Meaning what?
Meaning we will burn the program to the ground.
Hey, look to me. Do you want to live? Because I want to live.
You think that Jason Bourne was the whole story? There's a lot more going on here.
You've had alterations to 2 different chromosomes. It's the most exciting development in the history of the science.
Well, I'm not just a science project, Doc.
I gave them everything. We both did. Okay? Let's go.
I was surprised at how long it takes this movie to get going.
It does take a long time to
Like,
get the movie to get going.
You have to kind of be interested in the stuff that's happening in the Bourne universe to actually be enthralled in all of the conversation that's going on in the first half. Like,
yeah, I mean, the first half is setting up the fight and chase scenes at the end.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Which the truth is, if you go back and watch Bourne Identity, that is also true. Like, there's not a lot of action. I mean, there's some, but it is in a lot of ways building up to that last sequence. But it's different there because Bourne doesn't really know who he is. So this one is really just following this guy who knows who he is and knows what's going on. He doesn't feel like he's driven by like frustration and a mystery as much as Bourne is, which I think is the big difference. Like, I like both these characters, but Bourne is more engrossing because he doesn't know what's going on and he's just angry because stuff is happening to him.
This one's we just gotta stay alive.
Yeah,
we know they're hunting us.
Whereas Kenneth Kitsen's motivation is really different.
Wow, spoiler!
Oh, you mean because you find out what his name is? No, I think in the trailer they even say it at one point.
He's got 2 names in the trailer. He's like,
yeah,
another Bourne, or he's Alex.
I guess we can answer Natalie's question. Yeah, there is no Jason Bourne in this one.
Yeah, he doesn't ever show up. I
he
thought
never
he
shows
would.
up.
I
know,
thought
I'm
he
really
would just be in the
disappointed there's no
background.
Matt Damon in a cameo.
Yeah.
Because they missed a big opportunity. They could have had the 2 teamed up and take down Treadstone at the end.
Well, the piece of news that we skipped was that Frank Marshall, there was a special showing for the Jaws Blu-ray this week, or a week ago or so, that Harry Knowles was at, and he asked him about like what's going to happen next with Bourne, and Frank Marshall said that they're really excited about pushing out another movie fairly quickly that will involve both Jeremy Renner and Matt Damon's characters in the same movie. Which that sounds cool.
Because this movie takes place while the other movie is happening, so they could easily, they're like in the same...
Yeah. The guy who gets shot in the second one, you see him get shot in that one, and then or is it the third one? Well, the second and third take place at the same time for the most part, so anyway.
Yeah, but I think my biggest problem with this movie is the first half... and throughout the rest of it, seemed like he was just trying to get his drug fix. Like, his motivation was drugs.
Well, but, like, that's what it feels like. But then when you find out, like, the thing I love, maybe my favorite thing about this movie, actually, is that little germ of an idea that is very Flowers for Algernon, that, like, his motivation isn't that he's addicted to drugs. His motivation is that he was not a very intelligent person. They reveal that he was actually not smart enough to go into the Marines, and that he got cheated in, And that's his motivation, is that if he falls off of these drugs that they've been giving him to make him a better soldier, he will be dumb again, and he doesn't want to do that. And like that to me is such a great emotional story. It's almost a shame, like it's almost a shame it takes them so long to get there. But at the same time, if they had just started that from the beginning, it would seem corny. But I think that scene, and especially the way that Renner portrays like that struggle in him, and then when we see the flashback of him being interviewed where he wants to get into the program, and the way he plays himself as dumb, I think is really good. Like I don't want to say I relate to that guy, but I feel for him. I thought it was great. It's a more sci-fi Bourne movie than the other ones are. There's a lot more plot and a lot more like, oh well, now he's on drugs and we're gonna make him smart. Whereas the other ones are just like, well, he's trained to be a really good assassin, and then he forgot, and
it says superhumans.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, it's not Captain America completely implausible, but it's some crazy science stuff in there that you're like, oh, okay, I guess.
See, I believed in Captain America more than I ever believed in Jeremy Renner's character in this. But like I said, I mean, the movie was okay. It's not a bad movie.
Yeah.
It's just I could never really get into it like I got into the other Bourne movies. Because again, I thought his motivation was weird. Even after finding out, I don't want to be dumb.
Yeah.
So I'm going to fly all the way around the world so I can get drugs. To me, it's just like, eh.
Yeah.
There's some wicked cool parts in it.
My favorite when he's at Rachel Weisz's farmhouse and he scales that wall and then jumps through the window and shoots that chick.
Mm-hmm. That is a great shot. Yeah.
Sequence.
That was. I will say though, I think the director of this isn't quite as good as the other Bourne movies.
No. It's Tony Gilroy, who is also the guy who wrote it.
Didn't he do the last one?
No, the last two are Paul Greengrass, and Paul Greengrass is a great director.
Who did the first one?
Doug Liman.
Oh, I thought Greengrass did the first one.
No, Doug Liman does the first one, and then the second two are really where it gets shakier and a bit, mostly just shakier and sort of a faster pace. And then this one is just more claustrophobic. Like I feel like I don't know what's going on as well as I do in the Greengrass ones, which is a real testament to what he's doing, because that movie, it's hard to even know what you're looking at, but you can follow the action sequences really well because they're choreographed in such a way that it feels like a dance. Whereas this one, man, when Renner starts beating people up, it's just like, whoa, and then there's people that are on the ground, and you're like, okay, that was impressive, but it's not quite as much fun to watch as the other one is.
Yeah, I might be a movie I might go see again.
Yeah.
Because there's parts that I really liked, but I might have been sucked out because of the people behind me. Kept on saying they're in Manila. He's gonna shoot him, and just stuff like that. Just I usually hardly ever get sucked out of movies, but when it's that obnoxious, dude, just shut the fuck up. Just let me.
To quote Joss Whedon, there's a special place in hell for people who talk in the theater.
It's just unnecessary, and two, I had a really big problem with the ending of the movie because it didn't
real quick.
It didn't solve anything.
No.
Again, just setting up for sequels.
They might as well just put to be continued at the end.
Oh yeah.
Because literally they showed. Because I actually thought the most interesting character in the whole movie was Edward Norton's character, because he was definitely a huge villain, but they really didn't explore what happened to him. He was talking about doing all this stuff. Then they cut to that one lady from the first three movies, her Senate hearing, and then Edward Norton's never heard of again.
They spend so much time tying it in with the other ones but nothing ever pays off because of that.
And especially because they set up that relationship that Edward Norton had with Jeremy Renner's character.
Yeah.
Because he knew that this guy was, I don't know, loose cannon, I guess. But then they do that one flashback scene, and then they never explain again why, Edward Norton's so afraid of this guy. And Edward Norton says, you got to find him, look for him. And then he just never shows up again.
I totally agree.
It was just bizarre.
I don't think it's a movie that could ever stand on its own. Like I even Sierra texted me earlier because she wanted to come, and she was like, well, I've never seen the other ones. Can I still go? And I was like, well, yeah, you don't need to see the other ones. And I totally knew I was lying. I just wanted to come to see the movie with us. But this is not a movie that, if you haven't seen the other ones, that would work for you. And if they don't make a sequel to this one, I think that this movie would be done a complete disservice. Because, exactly, like, I think they could make a really good villain out of Edward Norton, especially in sequels.
Because he's such an intense actor
Yeah.
that I think that him not playing the nice guy or something like that is really an interesting choice. And so I guess maybe that's why I had a problem with the movie, is because they went through all this trouble of setting up, a cool car chase, and then at the end, Rachel Weisz says, "Oh, maybe we should be lost," and then they start that Bourne music. I'm like, "Fuck, they're gonna seriously end this right now?"
Yeah. Which I was glad that they got Moby back for this, but still, like they had to do. I sort of thought going in, I was like, okay, somehow they're gonna get this back so that they'll like set up Edward Norton as the new villain, and then something will happen where these characters will get led to wherever David Strathorn or however he pronounces his name, and then they'll accidentally or on purpose kill David Strathorn.
Yeah.
And so that'll be the way that they finish off the villain from the last 3 movies and set up the villain for the new movies. But then they just don't. Like, they just leave all of the stuff that was hanging from the end of Ultimatum still hanging.
Because even Edward Norton had that great scene with that general in the cafe I thought was really good.
Yeah.
Where he's
that
talking
is.
about that the general says, "I know everything that's going on," and Edward Norton said, "Well, you don't, because I'm the one who approves all this stuff." And there's so many great little scenes with him where he kicked all the analysis out, or the help, but then it really didn't amount to anything. I thought they were going to reveal something really cool, but it
was just like those people aren't allowed to have.
He didn't want them there seeing that picture on the screen, because then they'll.
No, I know that part, but
that's
I mean,
a bunch of other witnesses.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I get that part, but you thought that he's going to, get into
Yeah,
it.
like
I mean,
something was we were gonna find something out. No, I agree.
If anything, he should have, the guy who's like, come out here, I found this on the screen. He should have chastised that guy, because then
Exactly.
he wouldn't have had to tell everyone to leave the room, making his job that much harder.
I guess that's, that's why I had a problem, because it never really solved anything. The movie there was no conclusion. There was no, and I mean, that's fine with movies that, have sequels, but
And all the conspiracy stuff about, like, there's the YouTube clip that I guess exposes them. Like, I just don't get why any of this matters.
And Edward Norton got all worked up about it. It's just no.
The truth is, I loved all those scenes. Like, all of the dialogue in the first half, I was enamored with, because I like Tony Gilroy dialogue, because it's like, it feels much more deliberate. Like, he doesn't have, he's like an Aaron Sorkin or a David Mamet, where the dialogue is rich and he uses cool words and stuff like that. But there's not a lot of just banter in there. Like, people say exactly what they mean. And so I liked listening to, like you said, like that scene where Edward Norton is with that general.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that scene is so cool just to watch. Like, it doesn't matter what they're talking about to me. I just like listening to those guys talk. But you're right. It just doesn't, by the end, nothing comes of what's going on. But I did like, because I've seen the Bourne movies enough times that I think that the sort of conspiracy stuff at the beginning fits in with what they're doing in those first 3 movies and the kind of stuff they're worried about. Because it is cool. It's something that you don't think about in the first 3 movies, that, like, well, as Bourne is going back and sort of tearing down this structure that has created him, there are going to be other casualties and other sections of this whole tree of intelligence that are going to pay a price for that. And this kind of takes one of those and is like, well, there was this other branch that was doing something else. And because he's drawing attention to them, they have to start changing the way they do stuff. And so that to me was all really cool. But the Renner Rachel Weisz story doesn't actually go anywhere. Like, it just it's got some action, and at one point he fights a wolf, which is cool. I was so excited that there was another movie this
that was
year
creative.
where
I didn't see that coming. About the putting the tracking device.
We did have a Hawkeye moment in the theater when Renner pulled the gun over his hand. He wrapped the strap around his hand a certain way, and I looked at James like, "Oh, that's Hawkeye."
Yeah. Well, and because he shoots down that UAV, and then he's all cool, and he's putting the gun away, and in the background you see the UAV crash into the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't help but laugh at that shot, because I was like, yeah, that's totally the most badass thing, shooting down Chintari warriors.
Even Edward Norton had a great line where he said, "I think he has a rifle. It was high powered, so they'd get back to like what they were doing, because they got all distracted." So I mean, there's cool.
Yeah,
parts,
that line about like, he's just one man. Well, what's he got? He's just a rifle. It's a high powered rifle. But yeah.
But yeah, I just wish there was more.
I do too.
There's no closure.
No, not at all.
It's weird.
It's one that, like, the truth is, like, if you go back and watch, it's how I felt after Supremacy, where I was like, the action's really cool, but I don't think the story is actually that interesting in Supremacy. But then Supremacy, linked with Ultimatum is awesome. It's definitely not as much as I expected.
Yeah, but I mean, even though those movies, though, you still had some sort of, conclusion or the conclusion for the continuation.
Yeah.
I mean, they should have had something with Edward Norton, getting people together, like, let's find this guy and I'm going to find him.
Yeah. And I think
and then he turns into, like, the Hulk and, oh, dude, that'd have been awesome.
Part of why it's not as much as I expected is because I was telling Natalie and Sarah in the theater, like, this is the first time that we've gotten a Bourne movie made that was given the money and time and resources that the people making it wanted. The two sequels, they started filming those before they had scripts. Like, especially Ultimatum, the whole like chase sequence in the middle that is so famous and awesome, where he like is jumping through windows and stuff like
beating
that.
up people with a book.
Yeah, like that. It was all filmed, but they didn't know why that was going to be in the movie or how they were going to get to that city. But they were like, "Well, Tony Gilroy, you got to write this so that we can get to this city and have this scene." And somebody blows up a car or whatever. And so I was sort of expecting, like, well, okay, well, here's a chance for Tony Gilroy to just do a script the way he wants to do it, and it's going to be really special and twisty and all of that. And he doesn't really do it. Like, he just gives us a different story with some action at the end. But motorcycle chase is pretty cool.
Yeah. I like when Rachel Weisz tried to hit that dude with her helmet and she missed. That was, like, pretty funny because you expect her to hit him.
Yeah.
And
you're rooting for her. You're like,
whiffed.
be a badass chick and hit this guy. Especially after that, she just sort of, she tries to fight the guy who goes into the room and starts shooting everybody, which is a fucking intense scene. That scene is shot in such a way that you're just, watching him kill people, which is fucked up.
I also thought there were a lot of scenes where they set up tension and then nothing happens, which is also really disturbing.
Yeah,
yeah. It is like, I would almost say that I would want them to get somebody else to direct the next one. I think Tony Gilroy is better when he's directing dialogue and stuff like that than when he's doing action. Because the action in this movie is a bit too claustrophobic. But
cool. So you can like us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. You can tweet us, real_nerds. You can go to our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You can email me, realnerds@gmail.com. Leave us a message, 720-6nerds5. And remember, you can click on our page to donate money to the Alex Sullivan Fund we're doing. So please do that. Next week, what are we seeing, Brad?
Expendables or Paranorman?
We're seeing both. So we're seeing Expendables and Paranorman.
Oh, I hate you guys because I'm going to be gone.
And we'll try to fit in the campaign, too. So it might be a jam-packed episode next week.
Because somebody didn't want us to see it tonight.
Yes, so...
I don't want to see it any night, so...
Lame. So until next time, same bat time, same bat channel. Stole that from you. And Batman. And Commissioner Gordon in the 1960s Batman. I think is what it says, or is the narrator who says it. I haven't seen that show in years.
It's the narrator.
I used to watch it when I was at my grandfather's house, and...
Well, because as you know from Fat Man on Batman, that they used to do like an episode one night and then another episode the next night. So there were 2 episodes a week.
Yes.
So that's why they said it that way.
And they might be getting those on DVD soon, so...
Wow. Yeah.
No more guessing. Trying to remember what happened.
I don't actually know that I want to watch them.
So yeah, stay tuned next week. Jam-packed episode of Real Nerds. Bye.
Bye.
James is selfish.